Welcome to a very special Women's Race for 8 New York Athletic Club preview from the University of Arizona in front of McKale Center, the home to the University of Arizona men's basketball team. The University of Arizona 30-4 this season, ranked 4th nationally, entering the NCAA tournament as the number 2 seed in the West. But let's move on to March Madness in handball, where next week the top handball players in the world will be tackling the New York Athletic Club. The Women's Race for 8 will be featured in the second stop of the Women's Race for 8 season. Katrina Casey enters the New York Athletic Club Women's Race for 8 stop number 2, as the number 1 player in the world. She's always been the number 1 player on the Women's Race for 8 tour, having won 10 of 11 Women's Race for 8 starts in the 4-year history of the tour. She's only lost one match. That was to Aisling Riley at the Simple Green U.S. Open. Katrina Casey outscoring her 3 opponents thus far this season, 126-46. Katrina Casey continues to dominate on the Women's Race for 8 tour. But Women's Race for 8 number 5, Martine McMahon, has defeated Katrina Casey twice already in the last 6 months, the first being in the 60x30 All-Ireland final in a tiebreaker, the second in January at the 40x20 She's Aces ranking event, both of those matches in a tiebreaker. Martina McMahon will come into New York with a lot of confidence, having taken second last season. It's an amazingly strong field. Outside of Katrina and Martina, we've got Sienna Shireen, one of the most talented players in the world, Tracy Davis, the living legend from New York City, sponsored by the New York Athletic Club. She's got more than 50 national titles, and she'll be looking to add her first Women's Race for 8 title in New York City next week. Also, Ashley Moeller traveling from here in Tucson, Samantha Kohler, Amy Albert making her first Women's Race for 8 start. Shirley Chen will be taking the subway in New York City to compete in her hometown Women's Race for 8 event. And Leslie Amundsen from Canada, the fast-rising teenage star, will also be appearing there. It's going to be an amazing week, not just the women, but the men as well. You can watch it all live starting on Saturday, March 25th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're on about 14 hours throughout the weekend, about 10 hours on Saturday and about 4 hours on Sunday. You catch all the big matches, the women's, the men's, the finals will all be on Sunday. You stay tuned to WPHLive.tv for all the handball news from around the globe.